When Rockstar introduced the Ocelot Pariah, the car had received mixed feelings from the community. Being based on the Aston Martin Zagato, this was the only thing appealing to the car. It all changed when Broughy 1322, well known to the GTA community, published the results of its lap time and also its top speed. And everyone was blown away by the results. With a lap time of 1 minute, 0.828 milliseconds and a top speed of 136 miles per hour, the car was deemed to be a supercar in the sports class, which in result it had no competition and thus breaking the balance of the sports class in general. It was pretty much an all-round good car, but it was placed in the wrong class. But later on, new competition came forth and challenged for the new number one position, currently held by the undefeated Pariah. As part of the Doomsday Heist drip feed, the Pfister Comet SR was released back in February 2018. Based on the new Porsche 911 GT2 RS, the car had fans excited about this new Comet edition. As standard, it came already with carbon fiber parts, which then gave you the option to remove. But why would you? The car looked amazing with all the carbon fiber accessories all around the car. Not to mention the headlights. They've got updated and modern. Comets are known to be nimble, fast cars, and because a new version of it came out, it got everyone thinking that it might have a big chance of challenging the Pariah and give it a solid competition. But when Broughy 1322 announced that the Comet SR had a lap time of 1 minute, 1 second, 0.962 and a top speed of 122 miles per hour, the Comet SR was overall announced to be dead on arrival. However, with the car being 1 second slower than the Pariah around his track, the car did show signs of it being capable of keeping up with the Pariah around the track, placed in the right hands, of course. The battle of these two cars pretty much went for at least 1 year, and the Pariah remained always as the number one go-to car. But around December 2018, the festive surprise dropped, and new cars entered the ring. The Grotte Italia GTO was released back in December of 2018, and the hype around the car was absolutely incredible. The car was based on the Ferrari A12 Superfast, and in fact, it was the first Grotte vehicle ever introduced in the sports class. The car came in there when Rockstar introduced these new handling flags, where cars had drastically become slower as time went by. Interestingly enough, the Italia had one of the flags removed and left only with suspension handling flags. This, however, made the car super bouncy and unpredictable when it came to racing it and driving it in general. But besides that, the car was overall beautiful. It was the nicest car ever added to GTA in a long time. Some say as time goes by, the car will age well compared to some of the other cars and become an all-time favorite. And of course, everyone was waiting on the results from Broughy, and sure enough, he delivered. The car had a lap time of 1 minute, 0.99 milliseconds at a top speed of 127.8 miles per hour. This was incredible. Finally, a car that had the Pariah from its tail. But the handling flags were too much. The people would rather stay away from it. Sure, the car can keep up and maybe even beat the Pariah around the track, But with these new handling flags, they had ruined Italy's chance of becoming a new king. But some didn't take note of this. Some say they find it a challenge to drive the car, and they welcome it with open arms. But let's be honest, the stage hasn't been set yet, and the final competitor had finally entered the ring. In January of 2019, Rockstar had released the long-awaited Benefactor Schlagen GT, and fans couldn't be more happier. Based on the Mercedes-Benz AMG GTR, the Schlagen had a lot of people looking forward to drive it, and that's because it was the only car in the entire Arena War DLC with no handling flags. Some say that the Schlagen was a COD content car, and some say that Rockstar are pretty much testing the car to see what the community's reaction would be. Everyone, for some reason, expected the Schlagen to be the awaited pariah killer, the holy saint, to take its place as number one. And to be honest, I don't blame them. The fact that the Schlagen came out in an era with no handling flags might have convinced people that this car was going to be as good as the pariah. But when Bruffy1322 posted its lap time and top speed, everyone got stunned with the performance. With a lap time of 1 minute 3 seconds .498 and a top speed of 125 miles per hour, some people were disappointed with the results. But Bruffy insisted to buy the car as it was fun to drive around the track. However, the car still became one of the community's most favorite car. The looks of the car are distinctly Mercedes-Benz, and the fact that you can remake a GTR was even more in its favor. The car became a masterpiece. It was a simple, tail-happy car that had the car enthusiasts jump with joy. Now that we've met our contestants, it's time to put them through their pace. Cars will do a simple drag race, and then a traditional hot lap around the infamous Laguna Park racetrack. Time to see which one of these track weapons will be king for this year. Or will the pariah hold its position once again? Time to find out. With no surprise, the pariah had won the drag race with ease. Looking into the footage even more, we find that the Italian the pariah did get their wheels spun in the beginning, while the Comet SR's traction bolted the car off the line, closely followed by the Schlagen. Next, we see how ridiculous the Pariah is compared to its competitors as it flies by the competition like they're standing still. But surprisingly enough, the Schlagen had better traction over the other two cars, pulling it away from the Italy and the Comet SR. So we ended up with these results. Now we've come to the moment we've all been waiting for. The cars will be pushed to their limits to get the best lap possible around the infamous Laguna Park racetrack, one of the most prestige and technical tracks ever created in GTA Online history. Which one will be the best car around this track? Will it be the unbalanced Pariah? Or the nimble Comet SR? The bouncy yet fierce Italy GTO? Or the brute power of the Schlagen GT? Let's find out. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The race is finally over. And now it's time to see which car had the best lap time. Coming in at 4th place was the Schlagen GT with a lap time of 56.9. The car had performed very well, but the only downside for it were the brakes. Coming in at 3rd place was the Comet SR. The SR had beaten the Schlagen, but only by a few milliseconds, with a lap time of 56.28. The car was a dream in the corners. It carried most of its speed very well, however lacked the top speed. Coming in at 2nd place was the Italy GTO with a lap time of 55.5. Surprisingly, the bouncy car had made it to 2nd place. The Italy is overall a very planted car, but only when the track doesn't have any bumps, which in result made an excellent effort. And of course, 1st place is still held by the undefeated Pariah with a lap time of 53.03. The car had shown its supercar capabilities are unmatched. But after the results, we weren't happy about the Pariah being the #1 car. Sure, it's a good car overall, but it's too overpowered, it's unmatched, and rarely people use it for daily use around GTA. So we reached out to the people to see what some would think is the best sports car out of the 4, and the top 2 would move on to another voting round. Surprisingly, the Comet SR got a 6% of the voting, while ahead of it was the Pariah with 16% of the votes. Ahead by a long shot was the Italy GTO with a 25% of the voting, and by a huge margin, the Schlagen won with 50% of the voting going towards it, which was a surprising result. The Schlagen and the Italy moved on to the final voting round, and sure enough, the Schlagen won by 71% and the Italy by 29%. So what's the overall verdict? The Schlagen is overall a good car, packaged well with speed, agility, and style. But if you're a real car enthusiast and you like more of a modern classic and a car that will age well as time goes by, you'd turn around and head for the Italy GTO.
What makes me whole? That thing is what to do. That thing's what I think of.